Over 20,000 people listen to this man on a regular basis. He has published multiple books, and he has met President Obama. Hi, I'm Lillian. I had the amazing opportunity to interview Reverend Adam Hamilton, the minister of Church of the Resurrection United Methodist Church. Over the next 8 days, I will be airing the interview. In this segment, Adam Hamilton tells me all about being a grandfather and what being a leading voice in the denomination is like. Listen on to see what I had to ask. Welcome to the show, Adam Hamilton.
Thank you, Lillian. It's good to be with you today.
So, I heard you have recently become a grandfather. How has being a grandfather changed your life?
Well, I'll tell you, I love being a grandfather, and I heard everybody talk about how awesome it was, but I didn't realize, probably right after Stella is her name, right after Stella was born, I felt like something in my heart I felt a deep love for her like I had not known since my own children were small. And it's like all the fun stuff about being a parent without having to change lots of dirty diapers or do a lot of other stuff you don't really enjoy doing so much. So it's pretty great. Every time I see her, even if it's a picture on my computer screen, my heart it's hard to describe the feeling. It's almost like like something just grabs your heart. And so I'm really grateful for that. I never thought I was going to get to be a grandpa, and she just has filled my heart with love. And she's given me a lot of good sermon illustrations. So my children were, I don't know about your dad, but a lot of my sermon illustrations came from my kids as they were growing up, and then they moved away, and now all of a sudden I have more sermon illustrations, but now from Stella, so it's pretty fun.
So, I have listeners of all sorts of different religious backgrounds. Some are Jewish, some are Christian. So, can you tell our listeners a little bit about where you've worked and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm a United Methodist pastor. I graduated from seminary at Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas back in 1988. And I was an associate pastor for 2 years, and then I came and started the church that I serve right now. And it was my wife and I and our 2 children. I was 25, Levon was 26, and our kids were 2 weeks old and 3 years old. And I've been here for almost 25 years now. And the church has grown pretty dramatically. We have about 20,000 people who are part of the church today. We're located in Kansas City, and the church is called Church of the Resurrection. And our church is really focused on connecting with people who don't go to church. We call them non-religious or nominally religious people who have sort of drifted away from church or maybe never had any faith at all. And we try to help people see that you can be a smart person and an intellectual and still believe in God, and that faith makes a difference in our lives. And then as we try to teach them about what we believe as Christians, and then part of our task is to invite them to come along this journey of faith, to follow Jesus, and then to turn around and to live their lives of faith out in the world. So, we're constantly challenging them to live out a life of love and faith and to be instruments of God, to bring healing to a broken world, and to bless and lift up other people, and to work for justice and kindness, and all in response to their faith in Jesus Christ.
So can you repeat for my listeners one more time how many church members you have?
Sure. We have about 20,000. We just had about 210 people join the church this week on Tuesday night. A new group of folks who have been worshiping with us and came to our Coffee with the Pastors and joined. And on a given weekend, like this last Sunday, we had 11,700 people who came to worship. Most of those in person, but we also have 2 of our services are broadcast online live, and people can sign in and register their attendance and turn in prayer requests and sign up for things while they're worshiping with us online. And we have a pretty good number of those folks as well. And on the big weekends, on like Candlelight Christmas Eve is our biggest time of the year, and we'll have about 30,000, maybe as many as 32 or 33,000 people come for worship over the course of about 20 worship services on Christmas Eve and the night before.
So, I said I was 12 years old, so I'm interested to know about how many youth and children attend your church.
Yeah, we have about 3,000 children and about 1,200 teenagers that are members of the church, 12 to 1,500 teenagers. So there's about 4,500 children and youth who are part of the church. Now, how many of them are here every Sunday? I can't tell you that exactly. I do know in a normal weekend in Children and Youth Sunday School, we have about 1,500 people who are here for Sunday school on Sunday mornings that are children and teenagers. And then we have I think we have between 800 and 1,000 teenagers who come to one or more of our activities every week here, whether it's formation or youth choir or youth group or Sunday school.
Okay, so how do you view yourself as a leading voice in the denomination?
Say that again. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
How do you view yourself as a leading voice in the denomination?
Well, I don't know. I may be a leading voice in the denomination. I don't think of myself that way, but I do. What I do care deeply about is the United Methodist Church is a church that's been struggling and in decline, like most mainline churches have over the last 50 years. And when I became a pastor, I felt this. I'll just call it a calling from God to be a part of helping the church have a better future, to be revitalized. And so, here at the church, we're constantly looking for things that work in ministry or ideas that work, and then we give them away to other churches. And so, like last year, there were about 14,000 churches across the United States, United Methodist churches across the United States that used one or more of our programs or our ideas or our curriculum or books in their local congregation. And so, we look at that and say, okay, here's a chance for us to have a positive influence on other churches and on other congregations. And then, we try to, like, when it comes to issues that our denomination is dealing with, like right now, a lot of those issues have to do with human sexuality. And so, I've tried to be, working with other people to try to look for a way to help our denomination not divide over an issue like that. And then I do a lot of leadership teaching and training. So I speak in annual conferences. These are our regional gatherings. I speak in these kind of regional gatherings every May and June to about 7,000 or 8,000 pastors and church leaders, well, anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 or 8,000 pastors and church leaders. And part of that is...
Thanks for listening, and stay tuned as we talk to Reverend Adam Hamilton about his favorite book that he's written, Interfaith Communications, and the Bible.